Cenderawasih Bay, West Papua. The place to go if you want to see whale sharks feeding off the baguns. The Indonesian fishing boats, you can see the bait fish there in the nets with the whale sharks sucking on the nets. And that's a learned habit that's happened over the last 10 years. It's become a scuba diving haven. However, I was fortunate enough to go down to about 25 metres to 30 metres and see this natural feeding behaviour. Myself and Mark Gerlach were probably the only two that were able to witness this. It was a case of being at the right place at the right time. During most of the dives, all of the action was happening literally at the surface, down to about 5 or 10 metres of water. And at one stage, it was someone else's turn to do some photography and videography at the back of the boat. So I went underneath the bagan, went down to about 27 metres, and I looked down and I saw these creatures doing their natural feeding on the krill. And some of the footage is a little bit blurry, but I've showed what I could. I would just happen to be at the right place at the right time. Being able to see down the throats of these animals, it's pretty cool. Watching them feed on the krill was quite an interesting experience because obviously on the surface there's a lot of natural interaction, and it feels a little bit staged. They're more than happy for us to swim around them and for the whale sharks to interact with us humans. But down here, they're just in their own world. It was quite amazing. On the start of this dive, there was about 8 whale sharks at the surface. And about halfway through the dive, I noticed that there was only 3 at the surface. Hence, I popped down to see what was going on, because on every dive, if you started with 3 sharks, you finish with 3 sharks. If you started with 8, you finish with 8. So the question was, where were the rest of these sharks? And here they are, down in 25 to 35 metres of water, feeding on the krill. At that depth, the camera was struggling a little bit to focus. Not enough light down at that depth with the red filter on. An amazing experience. Keep in mind, if the Indonesian fishermen wanted to make a quick buck, they could sell each one of those fins for $1,000. But they've got a thriving tourist industry and instead have repeat ongoing business by saving these creatures and not by fishing them. So they're quite well protected in these areas. There's studies going on as to the animals' migration process, and I was lucky enough to be on board with some National Geographic and Discovery Channel videographers. It was a hell of a trip. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the show.